Good morning, my friends. Welcome to the 10-minute book talk, where three best-selling authors talk all things bookish with you for 10 short and sweet minutes every week. I am Marie Bostwick, and I am here with Katherine Reay, who looks incredibly good despite the fact that she's been on book tour and hasn't slept in 2 months, right?
Forever.
Cute she is. And the always adorable, yes, Rachel Linden. And here's the thing that's exciting is I got both of their names right, because in the take you didn't see, I mixed them up and made just a hash of it. I don't know. More coffee, please. Yeah, it's a bad blooper. More coffee, please. But guess what? You know what? It's not that I haven't had enough coffee. It's that I'm a little fangirling. I'm a little excited because we have one of my very favorite authors here, Maddie Dawson.
Yay, we love Maddie.
Thank you.
We love Maddie. She's my spirit animal, and she has a fabulous new book out called Let's Pretend This Will Work. It's a delight. Maddie, tell us a little bit about your fabulous book.
Well, it's the story of Mimi Perkins, who's been on too many dates, never can find the right guy. When the perfect guy falls in love with her, the drama teacher where she works at a private school, just like her psychic said this was going to be, this guy is really falling in love with her. On the night he proposes, however, he's older and divorced, has two kids who are mostly grown. His ex-wife gets in an automobile accident that's debilitating, and he decides that he's going to move back into their family home in New Haven and help his ex-wife, and help his daughters cope. So he moves Mimi to New Haven also from New York, and she gets an apartment, and the plan is they're going to see each other as they can. But a funny thing happens, which is that even though he's been divorced for many years, he sort of seems like he's reuniting with his ex-wife, and the family's kind of reconfiguring. And Mimi, really goes and tries to become a part of everything, and she really wants to make this all work. But she's living in an apartment that downstairs is a co-op daycare. And slowly, even though she's terrified of toddlers, slowly she finds herself becoming involved with all of these people's lives. And it's sort of a story about how the life you think you're going to get is not the life that you should have. And I find that that's so true in my life. Every single thing that's happened to me that's been good has been totally out of the blue and by accident. So I always seem to find that theme in my books, that we don't know what we're doing.
That's true. That's true. I never know what I'm doing.
I never know.
Well, I have a question for you, Maddie. So
Okay.
I love your books because I feel like one of the hallmarks, one of your strengths, and it strikes so deeply to my own heart, is that you make these flawed, quirky characters that are still deeply empathetic. You root for them. And so with Mimi, I love her. She just sort of goes for it in a very awkward, difficult situation where you're like, oh, girl, save yourself. This is so not good. And she's just sort of, I am going to make the best of this. So we understand that I understand from Marie that there's a bit of an autobiographical element to this book.
There is.
Tell us about that.
Besides the fact that I also, like Mimi, have barged into so many situations and I can make this work, My mother always said I was the champion of beating dead horses, I can do it. So I would totally be Mimi, ringing the doorbell of his ex-wife's house going, here's a pie roast for you all, But the autobiographical part really is that I was in a cooperative daycare for years with my first two children, and all parents had to do turns 4 hours a week, men and women. And this was it was in the 80s. And that's when the women's movement was really getting going. And, mostly women took care of kids, but we were militant, guys had to do it too. And the result was sort of everybody fell in love with each other. It turns out to be very dangerous to have men and women working together, taking care of kids, because there's nothing sexier than a guy taking care of your child, a guy that doesn't even know, that you don't live with and sleep with. So there'd be all these guys vacuuming with pacifiers in their pockets and a baby on their hip, and we just would be like, oh. It was a crazy, crazy few years. And when I was trying to think about a book that I wanted to write, my now husband, because those marriages did not last, those daycare marriages, said, your stories about daycare are so funny and so good. Why don't you incorporate something about a daycare? So I said it in 1982 because I kind of believe it wouldn't work today. We're a little more moralistic today, I think, than we were back in the crazy 80s. Everything was just kind of okay. And it was a wild, crazy life. And now what I'm trying to decide is, do I want to invite those daycare people to come to the readings that I do about this book? And I don't know the answer.
I think the answer is totally yes. Marie votes yes.
Marie, I can't help but invite them. I just
You have to.
They can choose to come or not. They can choose to
Right?
come or not.
So
right?
true.
You should at least issue the invitation, see what happens.
Yeah.
I know. Are they just going to scream at me though? Do you ever, like, I didn't take anybody directly from the daycare,
But
of
they
course,
may
but
think you did.
they will.
And they're
Yeah.
presented in a positive light overall. Like,
Yes.
There's one guy, maybe not so much.
okay, maybe not that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but here's a positive light, and this is going to lead into my question. You do a wonderful job. Okay, so when you're reading Pride and Prejudice, Wickham is the anti-hero and Darcy is the hero. You do a wonderful job of keeping us guessing. You
Oh,
have
good.
these three-dimensional men that aren't all good. They're not all bad. There's complexity there. So I want you to peel back for writers and readers a little bit of your magic in how you think about that and how you think about your anti-hero and your hero.
Wow, that is such a good question. Sorry that I tried to learn how to turn off notifications, but it didn't work.
We didn't even hear it.
We didn't hear.
Oh, good. I don't know. I guess I just see people that way, maybe.
Yeah.
Nobody seems all good or all bad to me. And I've spent my life kind of trying to put them into little slots, and they won't stay there, I I was
It
kind of
makes the story better. I mean, you keep us guessing with those nuances. So
Oh, good.
awesome.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. I hoped that had worked, that the guy she ends up with, I don't want you to really know who it's going to be.
Right. Well, it is. And speaking of magic,
Yeah.
Mimi has a kind of a particular sort of magic, and that she is very attracted to and brings out good things in wounded people.
Mm.
And I was so fascinated. Like, she does this over and over and over and over in the book in a way that's just kind of foolishly brave, that I really love.
Yeah.
You say she's afraid of toddlers, but she becomes incredibly attracted to and important to a wounded little girl who's only 3 or 4 years old, who is
And the handsome dad.
who is grieving, is grieving, to these two, that you mentioned, the Wren's ex-wife, right?
Yeah.
Even her, who, like, here's this woman who, that you would think that, and she has this magical ability to kind of do that. And I guess my question is, like, do you sit down and say, okay, that's going to be her superpower, and or do you just, is it very organic for you? How do you create this amazing?
I am such a pantser, when you talk about different styles of writing. I never really know. I know what I hope will happen. Sometimes I'm very surprised by what the ending comes up with. Like, no, don't go with him. I this way.
Come back.
Where did I go wrong? Going back through the pages. Page 56. That's when he said that. That really did it wrong. But yeah, she does kind of grow into that life, doesn't she? She's just saw herself as such a misfit, and then to find her place. I guess that's what it really is.
Well, and yet she's a misfit who somehow manages to bring everybody together, and who it's like she's got I'm not giving away anything. She has the magic skirt that she starts off with in the book. But really, I just see her as this sort of, like, kind of crazy fairy who goes around tapping people and and bringing weird healing in strange ways that it just makes my heart happy every time I read one of your books. And this
Oh, thank you.
was just no exception. I always look forward to them. I want you to write faster if you would.
Okay, I'll work on that.
Right. So okay, that's another question. Like, because I kind of am that way too. Does this happen
Yeah.
to you? Because I don't always know what the characters are going to do. Once I find out how the book is done, I'm like, I just want to walk away from it and not do any more editing because I have satisfied my curiosity.
Isn't that the truth? I know.
Right? It's like, well, I'm happy.
Exactly. And I think maybe people who outline and know every single thing that's going to happen in their book, they don't get that feeling at the
What's the
end.
fun in that, right?
They feel like they've done a term paper, where they've been on these crazy adventures. Do your books ever wake you up in the middle of the night and tell you,
Yes.
guess what's going to happen?
Yeah, no, and then you have to write it down because it won't be there in the morning.
It won't be there in the
Be
morning.
there. It
Well,
will.
no matter how
never
much
be.
you tell yourself it will, you have to
I'm gonna
actually get out of bed.
Cementing this in, no.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, Maddie, I just want to talk to you all day, but we can't do it because it's
I
a
know, we
10-minute
can't
book
do it.
talk. So there's I think we've already gone more than 10 minutes, or not. I don't know. I have no
This
sense
is
of
like
time.
the 15-minute book talk.
Well,
Oh,
you have to ask the last question though.
And we do, and I'm getting to that. So, and you've been here before with us because we love you, because you are a repeat offender here on the 10-minute book talk.
I love you guys.
In a good way. Repeat offender in a good way. Rachel does it in the
All
worst
the best
ways.
ways.
I think we got to think of a different phrase. Like,
Well, come on, that seemed funnier. And I knew Maddie would, like, if it's funnier,
I like
go
it. I
with
like it.
right? Am I right,
Yeah,
Maddie?
it's good.
Yeah,
It's very
if
good.
it's funnier, that's what you should do. Anyway, here's the question, the important question. Maddie Dawson, what is bringing you joy today, my darling?
The weather, it is finally spring here in the Northeast. When I finish this, I'm going to go out for a walk with a friend. And I'm also writing chapter 3 of a new book that's just starting to speak to me. And I love that part when it's so new and your editor doesn't know about it and your agent doesn't know about it and you just get to play with it. Yeah.
And that moment, and it's
moment.
when you're still a genius, right?
When you're
When
still
before you have reached the
going
point
to
of
work.
self-doubt.
Right?
Yeah, no, I love that. That
I
sounds
know.
amazing. That sounds amazing.
That's a
And
good
hold up your
day,
book
Maddie.
again. Hold up your book again, love.
Okay.
Friends, if you are needing a good laugh, a happy ending, a quirky character that is just going to make your heart happy, this is the book for you. Go right now and go get Let's Pretend This Will Work by Maddie Dawson. You will not be sorry. And we'll see you. You know what? We also won't be sorry if you come back next time and see us again on the 10-minute book
I
talk,
would
because
love
we're
that.
all the best authors. So see you next time, gang. Bye.
I love you. Bye-bye.
Love you.